Well, now our guest today is an Oz Mumpreneur Gold winner for making a difference. And that difference is to those suffering from eczema, which can affect 1 in 5 children under the age of 2. So far, her company Itchy Baby Co has helped more than 30,000 families manage their children's eczema and enjoy a better quality of life. Julia, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here at the table.
Thanks for having me.
How often does someone actually just go and make a product? Like, there must be a story behind this. What is your story?
Oh, there's a big story. So my little boy Christian at 3 months was diagnosed with eczema, and we suffered with eczema for a year before I actually got into my kitchen and started myself doing something about it. And that's because at the time he was diagnosed, children get lots of skin rashes, as we know, and the health advice I got, and me being a health professional as well, a pharmacist, listening to myself, rashes come and go. And various doctors had told me that by the time he's 1, he'll grow out of this. And so I was treading water for a year, thinking he's going to grow out of it. I've got so much else going on with a newborn, and you know how busy it is having a newborn child, and too busy to worry about this and it's going to go away. It just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where when he did turn 1 and it was supposed to be this wonderful time when he was going to grow out of his eczema, we were in hospital and he had eczema over 75% of his body.
Wow.
We were admitted for a week. He was badly infected.
So what is eczema? What were his symptoms like? What was he suffering from?
So eczema is a chronic skin condition, and what he was suffering from was intensely itchy skin, red, raised, inflamed, over most of his body. And it wasn't like that all the time. Things trigger eczema, so there are environmental triggers, like say your dishwashing detergent or your washing powder. Environmental triggers can make the eczema worse.
Is it food allergies? Do they contribute?
They contribute, and where a lot of people fall down with that is they think that taking a particular food away from a diet is going to cure eczema. There's no cure for eczema, but if your child is allergic to a food and they eat the food, then it can trigger an eczema flare-up. So
if the doctor didn't recognise it, how's a mum with a baby going to know what to do? Whether it is eczema or something else?
Well, that's the problem. That is exactly the problem I found, that GPs, speaking very generally, unaware, and pharmacists as well, me being one, of the best way to manage eczema. So we always want to treat what's in front of us, treat the symptoms, bring them down so we can all, you know, get on with other things
Everyday
we have
life.
to do. Exactly, everyday life. And so often with eczema, your health professional will give you a steroid cream to use, which is great, and it has a place in eczema management, definitely, and that'll treat the flare-up, hopefully, and bring it down and take away the itch out of the skin. Now, the problem with that is that eczema is a chronic condition, which means it comes back. It's not going away until, hopefully, one day your child grows out of it. And slapping on a steroid ointment when you're in a flare-up is going to be great for a day or two. You stop using it and your eczema flare-up comes back. So eczema requires management.
So how did you
that was the step that was missing
for your son?
Yeah. So when we're in hospital, and you know there's nothing to do in hospital, is there? Like, you've got your baby in one of those cot beds and you're on that uncomfortable kind of thing, lying there wide awake. There's not much to do. So I started researching natural ingredients which were going to help manage eczema. So ingredients which had anti-inflammatory properties, intensely moisturising properties, things which were going to be good for the skin, to keep Christian's skin moisturised, hydrated, so we could prevent eczema flare-ups. And I'll probably go back a little bit and just explain how eczema comes about, or how it affects the skin. So if you imagine your skin, and people without eczema, it's all like meshed over. People with eczema, it's quite, you have holes in it, so the ends don't meet all over the skin. And so there are breaks in the skin, and moisture then can escape the skin very easily, so you get dry, itchy skin, and also irritants which live on the skin can get into the skin. And so it's twofold. You're losing moisture, and then irritants are getting into the skin and causing itchiness and inflammation. So I really wanted to start protecting his skin barrier. and started researching natural ingredients which were going to help me do that.
So what did you... Oh, sorry, go Mel.
Oh, I was just thinking about what you're saying was very interesting because I was going to ask you because my 18-month-old grew into eczema. He didn't have any.
Right.
And now he's starting, it's only very little, so it's just in the inside of the arms and it flares up. And yeah, the GP exactly just said steroid cream. And yeah, it does help. And I was going to ask you, it's like, so you're saying that doesn't help and your product, what's the difference between the steroid cream and what you've come up with?
So the steroid cream will treat the flare-up. So your little boy's having an eczema flare-up in the inside of his elbow, which is a really common place for eczema to come up. Itchy Baby Co, my products, what they do is you use them regularly and they protect the skin's barrier to prevent the flare-up happening. So then you won't need to use the steroid cream.
Even when there's no symptoms, you use it.
And that's the thing with eczema. You have to manage the skin every day to put the most amount of moisture into the skin and protect the skin's barrier to prevent eczema flare-ups. And that's the piece that's missing when mums first hear about eczema. Their child has eczema. And what I found is that we're not educated enough about how to manage eczema. And eczema requires a skincare routine every day.
So how long did your son take to improve?
So once we started using Itchy Baby Co, so he improved within a week.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
You'd been
then
having
I thought,
this for like over
and then
a
I
year.
thought, oh my God, I'm onto something. The biggest problem I had was that I didn't have time. Like, you're pregnant again, like, you know, like, oh my goodness. And you just, you don't have time to, it sounds silly now, but to do what's involved to manage eczema. So my first step was to incorporate something I do every day to make an eczema skincare routine. So he has a bath every day. So I started with a bath soak, something I could easily put in the bath, because that's not extra time into my day. You're already so time poor. So every day he'd have his bath with colloidal oatmeal, and we've got a range of bath soaks that...
Sorry, did you say colloidal oatmeal?
Yes.
Oh, what is that?
So,
Sorry.
so you've got oats and they're finely milled down to a really fine powder, and that means that their moisturising and anti-inflammatory properties disperse into the water and then onto the skin, and they stay on the skin.
So you have a range of products. It's not just one product.
Yeah, we've got a range of products. So we started with our bath soaks and then developed a moisturiser that's used immediately after the bath, so that further locks in the hydration from the bath soak. Then a face mask. So my little boy had really bad eczema on his face.
Are we allowed to ask the ingredients? It
Oh
sounds amazing.
yeah. You know what? They're natural products, so they're ingredients that have been around for a very long time. So colloidal oatmeal's our main ingredient. Shea butter, intensely moisturising. The wondrous properties of coconut oil, so antibacterial properties in that, which is amazing for eczema. Vitamin E to help heal the skin. Marshmallow root, which again has anti-inflammatory properties. So you can see they're all natural things which have properties that are going to
So essentially you're creating that layer that the skin isn't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
wow.
a hard message to get across
So
to
where are
new
your
mums.
products available?
Online at itchybabyco.com.au.
Okay.
And
I bet there are so many families out there who'll be wanting to have a look, because I know I've had friends who've had kids with eczema and they've gone to bed with like wet cloths over them because it's just so itchy and so raw and red, and that's the only way that they can get any relief. So it's a real problem.
yeah,
And is it just as effective on adults?
yes, it is.
Because I know
It
a lot
is,
of
and we've got a
adults
lot
still
of
suffer.
adults who use our products,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, you should remarket it to itchy adults." And I'm like,
There you go. Well, look, if you want to have a look, go to Itchy. It's at itchybabyco.com.au to see if it can help out your family. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Julie.
you.
We really appreciate your wisdom and
you for
knowledge.
having me.
Ladies, always a pleasure. We will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now.